Breaking coverage of the Chauvin murder trial. The jury just ruling former police officer Derek Chauvin is guilty on all 3 charges in the killing of George Floyd. That's guilty of second-degree murder, guilty of third-degree murder, and guilty of second-degree manslaughter. And joining us now for reaction to the guilty verdicts is Republican Congressman from Texas, Congressman Brian Babin. So, Congressman Babin, just your overall thoughts on the day and this, 3 guilty counts for this former police officer.
Well, our system of justice is supposed to work. A jury has found him guilty on all 3 counts. What can you say? There was an enormous amount of pressure on these jurors, I'm sure, from the President of the United States to Maxine Waters in the U.S. House. Incredibly, I wish that President Biden would have equal compassion for victims of illegal alien criminals and their angel families that he's had on some of these other individuals that in these places of Democrat-controlled cities. And I also wish that that equal prosecution and fervor by Mrs. Waters would be carried out to those who have been committing arson, murder, and all of these crimes across this country for the last several months, in fact, the last year. And there just seems to be a double standard here. And certainly my heart goes out to the family of George Floyd, but it just seems like it smacks of politics so very, very much. And quite frankly, I think it's going to really put a damper on law enforcement in this country as they call for, they have to have a guilty verdict, or everybody needs to go out and make sure that they let them, as Ms. Waters said, quite frankly, I thought she was inciting violence and doing the very, very same thing that she accused President Trump of doing and even voted to impeach him for. But we have to have law enforcement. And at the same time that they are absolutely enabling this violence and riots to go on across the country, they're calling for the defunding of the police departments around the country. Some of them even calling not only for defunding, but abolishing police departments. And that is not a good thing, especially for these neighborhoods and communities of color who need police officers badly in their midst, quite frequently.
Yeah, it's interesting, Congressman, that you talk about it being political. Immediately we saw the Congressional Black Caucus out in front of the Capitol with Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House. I didn't hear anybody. Now, we didn't hear everything that was said. We heard it was a first step. We heard the fight's not over. We didn't hear anybody say, please be calm, the system worked. Exactly. And I'll tell you what, a lot of the rhetoric is the presiding judge over this case, over the Chauvin case, said himself that some of the rhetoric he's heard from Maxine Waters and others, calling for that they better find him guilty and the maximum, that could actually overturn this verdict. So, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I want to see justice done in this country, and we have seen justice here. We all saw the terrible videos, and then we saw other videos that showed it kind of ameliorated the first video that we saw, and we know that Mr. Floyd was full of drugs, fentanyl, and other things. I think the justice system has to work. Justice has to be blind. Were these jurors coerced in any way by the rhetoric of Ms. Waters, President Biden, and many, many others? Yeah. In fact, I know when they were picking and choosing this jury, there were several jurors, potential jurors, that said, I'm not going to be a juror here. I'm not going to, be subjected to the persecution that this may entail for me sitting on this jury.
Yeah. Well, Congressman Babin, we really appreciate your time, and thank you very much for joining us with this breaking news coming in on this verdict. We now wait for